Hi everyone, it's Mr. Cole here, and in this video we're going to take a look at our class reading on the Indus Valley Cultural Hearth. And you can see here on this map from our Cultural Hearth website here where the Indus Valley Cultural Hearth was located. And this reading begins on page 67 of our AP World History Study Guide. The Indus Valley Civilization. By 2500 BCE, another advanced civilization had emerged along the Indus River in present-day Pakistan. Like the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Indus River was noted for its unpredictable and often violent pattern of flooding. Among the urban centers that arose along the Indus were the Harappa and the Mohenjo-Daro. Streets in both cities were laid out along a precise grid, and houses boasted running water and sewage systems. Much of what historians know about the Indus Valley civilization must come from archaeological discoveries, because the Harappan writing has yet to be deciphered. Archaeological findings of Harappan artifacts in Mesopotamia indicate active trade between the peoples of the Indus Valley and Sumer by way of the Persian Gulf. Around 1500 BCE, the Harappan civilization was overtaken by a group of Indo-European peoples called Aryans. The Harappan civilization, which the Aryans conquered, had already declined markedly, perhaps as a result of rivers changing their course or a natural disaster such as an earthquake. The blend of traditional culture of the Indus Valley people and that of the Aryans had a profound effect on the future course of Indian history. Backgrounds of classical India. The roots of classical India began during the invasions of the Aryans about 1500 BCE. From their original home in Central Asia, the Aryans brought a tradition of hunting and cattle herding. After their arrival in South Asia, however, they adapted the agricultural methods of native peoples. Aryan iron tools facilitated their success in agriculture. Although the people of the Harappan civilization of the Indus Valley possessed a written language, the Aryans did not. Much of our knowledge of the Aryans comes from their oral epics, called Vedas. The Vedas were later written down in the Sanskrit language, which remains a prominent language in India today. The influence of the Vedas is evident in the term applied to the early classical period of Indian culture, the Vedic Age, from 1500 to 1000 BCE. The first Aryan epic, the Rig Veda, is a collection of hymns in honor of the Aryan gods. Other epic literature which shaped Indian culture during the Epic Age from 1000 to 600 BCE includes the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, considered the greatest epic poem of India, and the Upanishads, a collection of religious epic poems. Aryan society was based on a village organization composed of families with patriarchal control. Their society was further organized along a class system. When they invaded the Indus Valley, the Aryans, who were fair-complexioned compared to the native people they conquered, perceived the people of the Indus Valley as inferior, or not as good as them. Therefore, they modified the class system with which they were already familiar in their society to define the new relationship between conqueror and conquered. Society was divided into 4 distinct classes, or varna, based on skin color. Kshatriyas, or warriors and rulers, Brahmins, or priests, Vaishyas, or merchants and farmers, and Sudras, common workers. The first 3 classes were composed of Aryans. The 4th of the Dravidians, or the native people of India, whom the Aryans encountered at the time of their invasion. During the Epic Age, the first 2 classes reversed in order of importance. At the very bottom of the social structure was a classless group of untouchables. Members of this group were involved in occupations perceived as distasteful, such as handling waste products, carrying out the dead, or butchering animals. As the classes became hereditary and they became castes, or rigid social classes that seldom permitted social mobility. Within each caste were numerous subcastes, or jati, that further defined Indian society. The Aryans also introduced to Indian culture their own array of gods and goddesses. Part of their belief system was the veneration of some animals, particularly cattle. That's our reading from our study guide on the Indus Valley Civilization. Please see our website or your world history teacher if you have any questions.